basically, let's start with, how did you get into the whole music scene?
The whole music scene? When I started pursuing, going after the music thing, I started out playing in a cover band, thinking that I was going to eventually write songs and do it that route, and found out pretty quickly that wasn't necessarily the case. I left the cover scene because, to be honest with you, I really couldn't stand doing cover songs. It's like all you really do is just entertain drunk people all day. It's like you're not really creating anything, and you don't really believe in anything. So then, I've been writing music ever since I was 3 years old, and
that's kind of young.
Yeah, I started young. I wrote my first song when I was 3.
Nice.
I really wanted to get back into writing and being more of a creative thing, and I put a band together, not even realizing what kind of a scene that there was, just knowing that I believed in something and I wanted to say something and make a difference and make an impact. And next thing you know, we start playing shows, and we discovered that there was this great scene in Connecticut, and it's really a brother and sisterhood. And and we find bands outside of Connecticut that we like playing with, and it just kind of grew from there.
Okay, all right. Now, was it always this band that you had, or did you have other bands and then it evolved into Crossing Rubicon?
Crossing Rubicon was kind of I had been in bands in the past, and it was always, when it was like, you get together, you write a couple songs, you go out and have a couple beers and have a good time. And when I really started to take things seriously, it was Rubicon. I was in kind of a weird place in my life, and like I said before, I kind of really needed to say some things before, I had gone through a problem with drugs and alcohol, and I had since gone sober, but I really, at the time, I was kind of in a bad place, and I figured, I always wanted to at least record an album and get it out there, and before something really bad happens, I wanted to do that. And then through playing music and kind of, I don't know, I eventually went sober, and it was the music that kept me sober. And it started to kind of, it became, Crossing Rubicon was everything to me.
Okay. Is that where the name came from?
When I started writing for Crossing Rubicon, a lot of the stuff that I wrote about was very personal and stuff that I wouldn't really want to let people know about.
Okay.
It was kind of like almost like a confession through music, and I felt that I had kind of passed the point of no return by releasing some of this. And I was a huge Shakespeare fan. A lot of the writing that I do is a lot based on Shakespeare. Some of it, and some other writers, especially anyone that did theater and poetry, I would always kind of bring that in as an influence. And so it was kind of like me kind of making a confession. And moving on from there, it was always kind of like to pass the point of no return, but, no less than everything. That's kind of, we actually do kind of have like a little bit more of a positive message as far as the band goes. And that's, Crossing.
Well, that's good for these days, because these days there's not too much positive going on. So, now, I know you've been through some band member changes.
Yes.
So now, currently, is this like the solid Rubicon, or?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the things, the biggest problem we had was going from a band that was a weekend warrior to a band that was actually touring and making this a career. And when you do that, everybody wants to be a rock star, but you can't really go from the garage to arenas and tour buses.
Right.
So you pretty much, if you have a wife and kids and a house and a mortgage, you can't make that jump. And, what happened with us was, I had a career that I was making a lot of money, and I had to walk away from that and not make a lot of money. And it was kind of, I had another band member that eventually had to sell their house because they couldn't, but that was the kind of sacrifice we made to do what we're doing now. And nothing against the people that couldn't do that. It was like, I understand. I mean, you're either a good person or a bad person, and sometimes in the position you're in life, to drop everything and go off and go on the road for 2-3 weeks at a time could make you
that more of what you were looking for, somebody that was committed, or was it more musicianship, or was it a little combo of both that
you? It's got to be everything.
Okay.
It's got to be personalities. We're actually pretty easy to get around with people, but you kind of need a mixture of everything. It's like, you know what? Number one, the hardest thing is finding somebody who can just drop their life and go away and do everything that kind of. They have to actually have that dream with you.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, the personality has to be there.
Yeah, because you're going to be living in small quarters with them.
Yeah. And the musicianship has to be there too. And it's not.
You get very friendly, very.
And it's, we're kind of like, you know, like there's, you know, I know my wife was in bands before where they called certain band members Shitler.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that with Rubicon. Usually
Okay.
when we bring in somebody else in the band, you know, it's like you come into the band and you kind of bring your style to the band and we kind of morph to kind of fit that style and move forward going that way.
Yep.
Which, you know, people say like a lot of, you know, so, which is actually kind of a cool place to be. If you're more of a punk guitarist or a metalcore guitarist, or you kind of bring that style to the mix, and we just kind of naturally you kind of just add another flavor to the mix.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So everyone's signature is always in all of our songs.
So do you think the band has changed dramatically since, say, the last album? Because I know you just put out a new album, correct?
Yeah, well, from the EP, it was like more of an EP, and then the actual full-length album that it like literally 2 years to record, and we put everything we had into this. You know, it was really just kind of taking a step back and realizing, it's funny you say that because we didn't change much, we kind of just refined things.
Okay.
You know, kind of made, you know, we had a review of the album once. It was my favorite comment ever. They were like, "Are you trying to fuck with people that like to categorize music?" And it was like, not deliberately, but to be honest with you, like, I can't stand the modern mentality when it comes to doing a record,
Mm-hmm.
where you put like 5 strong songs in the beginning and then filler at the end and kind of like front load. I want to kind of throw different like styles and hooks and curves, so that you kind of take a journey with the band from the first song on the album to the last song,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to skip around. It's always something. It's not like 5 songs that sound the same.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll go from stuff that can be borderline power metal to punk to, you know, whatever in between,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and kind of we're throwing 5-part harmonies at you one second, and then we're screaming at you the next.
Right. So you guys are open to pretty much everything then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just kind of, and as a band, we kind of want to, like, you know, there's always that mentality that, like, oh, they don't sound like that album anymore. How dare they? Or how dare they change their sound? Or this band never does anything. They always sound the same. You know, we're just gonna like grow as musicians together and kind of keep going in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just try to keep it interesting.
All right. Now, songwriting, are you the main songwriter?
I would say I'm the quality control guy, because
Okay.
I like to say that I have like.
I've never heard someone say that before, and that's actually pretty brilliant.
I think in the long run, I think doing something sounds like, I always say, we make the best Crossing Rubicon songs possible.
Yeah.
That's our style for you, and I guess finding stuff that still fits our style and fits, you know, which is very broad, and just, you know, I guess I'm the guy that can, you know, like, I do a lot of the songwriting, but everybody does the songwriting.
Okay.
I could say like Zach was very big and instrumental on writing a lot of stuff on the record. Jeannie's writing some stuff for the new record. Jesse's writing some stuff for the new record, and we all kind of like, so either you bring a full song or an idea, and we all work on it together.
Okay.
So it's always kind of a group effort. You know, it's to say, writing credits on a record go to all 5 members equally.
Okay.
You know, because it's all. I can't play the drums,
Mm-hmm.
so Brandy writes the drums. You know, and it's very. But in the long run, if something just doesn't seem to work, I'm the guy that usually be like, you know.
Oh, you're the guy.
I'm the guy. Sorry, this doesn't work.
Okay.
But for the most part, it always works. It seems to work.
Now, have you thrown stuff out that hasn't worked and, like, now, current day, brought it back?
Yeah, for the next record especially.
I'm trying to, right?
Yeah, there's a couple songs that I was very, very, very close to.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, you know, my guitar player would be like, well, I don't know, but like, dude, I really like this song.
Yeah.
So even as being the quality control guy, even I have to. It's very democratic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, almost socialist, and I still have to kind of. We all have to get along and all have to agree on it. You know. And for the most part, we always do. So coming back and bringing back something that we wrote a while ago, you know, if it's something, you know, it just didn't fit on this last record, or it just wasn't the right song for this record, but moving forward, we'd really like to bring it in, you know, stuff like that.
All right. Now, when did this last record drop?
This last record dropped in February.
Okay, so it's been out for a little bit.
It's been out for a little bit, yeah.
All right, and you guys did a video for Unhinged.
Yeah.
Was that like a first video that you ever did, or have you dabbled in that?
We had another music video before, and it was cool. We released it for our EP. It was for our song "Perfection in Life," and it did a lot of great things for us. It was cool because we were this band from Connecticut that all of a sudden had this really professionally done video, and in that video, you know, we always like to have a message. And either you're gonna love us or you're gonna hate us. And we had a very, 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 very strong anti-drug message in the first video.
Okay.
Where I actually played a heroin addict, and I actually had to drop a lot of weight for that video. Like, we had 2 weeks notice, and I went on like a really, really insanely unhealthy weight loss diet.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up dropping 22 pounds. But I didn't look like a heroin addict at 22 pounds. I got all cut up, and it's like, no, I don't look heroin addict enough. You know, we actually really, I mean, I have an acting background too.
Yeah.
So I really like doing the music video thing. It's like, hey, I get to act again. You know. With the Unhinged video, we kind of tackled on some other issues.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done videos before and love doing videos.
Do you think videos are the new radio, or do you still think radio is like the thing for bands?
I don't think radio is the thing for bands anymore. I think as far as anything for bands nowadays, any kind of structured industry is kind of falling apart. And I think that, well, I would say, like, our motto is we're making America punk again. There's really no formula anymore of success. So instead of trying to go after, you know, what is the cool thing to do, we're trying to kind of carry on the strongest message we can and do the best we can with it, and work with bands that are our peers and our, you know, what we call them our allies in the war.
Yeah.
And just trying, I mean, to say that there's any kind of a big, you know, way to make something break nowadays, it's tough. I mean, a lot of times, I'll be honest, we know. I mean, the bands that, you know, even on Sirius and XM radio, you pay money to have your song on the radio.
Right.
Phone calls don't necessarily, you can get a couple of plays before it from that, but it's who's investing that money to get that band more spins. So it's all bought and paid for. So, you know, we have people that are doing stuff for our music video that
it's hard for like the little guy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
you can pay anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 to get your band in the top 25 or more, and that's how it is. It's all bought and paid for because there's no people don't buy records anymore.
Right.
So everyone's trying to pay money to get somewhere. So instead of looking to some kind of a formal industry to try to make money, we are kind of looking more of a grassroots way of paying our bills. You know, working with people that treating music more like a niche industry again, which is where it should be. I mean, Rage Against the Machine should not be played on family radio stations. You know, and you know, there is somebody out there that's listening, and there's somebody out there that feels similar or whatever than what we feel. So putting something out there that kind of makes an impact and makes a difference, and hoping people will kind of get onto it. And there are people that support us. I mean, you know, the people at Pavement Records have been very supportive with us, and our management company has been behind us. And we're kind of like, we'll do our own thing. You know, giving us the tools to do it and reaching people and making a difference. So
the label's been open for you guys to kind of go out there and do your thing? Or, they instead of working kind of like, you know, whatever, they're kind of like, they give us the tools to make the right decision, to make the decisions we want to do. And it's like, so what can you do with this? Okay. Which is kind of the way we like it. All right. Now, how is it working together?
You want to answer that one, honey?
What do you mean?
In a band together.
Oh, like us two?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I mean, one of the reasons that attracted us, to each other is our passion and about music.
Yeah.
And different passions in life. We kind of just gravitated towards each other. So to put that towards music and have the same goal, it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, even like one of the bands here, is like, oh, my boyfriend's in another band. I couldn't have it. He couldn't be in my band. It just wouldn't work. And we're like, well, fuck it. It works stronger because we're together.
Right,
like,
right.
It, some people wouldn't work, but we've been pretty successful. And we also, I mean, a lot of the reason I'm singing so much and everything like that is a lot of his support. And I feel like we feed off of each other and we'll grow and evolve once we start really writing and putting our heads together.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, like I didn't write any of the songs in the album. I do sing on some of them.
Yep.
So I've kind of put my own spin on it live, but I feel like when we really start writing and just starting from scratch, it's gonna be pretty awesome.
So far, she wrote my favorite song off the new album.
Thanks, babe.
I was just like, yeah, it was like, she brought this musical idea.
You're not biased, right?
No, I swear. No, you know what it was? It was like, she brought this piece in, and I was a little bit like, all right, where's this going? And she ready to play this chorus part. And by the time she got done playing the chorus through the first time, I had the chorus written. I'm like, wait a minute, I got a vocal for this. And I literally came up and sang the part, and I'm like, drops the mic. It's awesome. So,
nice.
Yeah. And a lot of things too, like her, with her, I was excited too with her playing.
Mm-hmm.
Her bass playing is so aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff like overdubs and stuff that our guitar players did on our record.
Yep.
That they can do now because she takes up so much space with her tone and her style of playing.
5'2". I'll take it over.
5'2". And it really, I think out of everybody that's played in this band that's kind of changed the direction, it's been her. Like, as far as impact, as far as what she brings to the table.
Now, how long have you been in the band?
A year since July.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, a year and 2 months.
Nice. All right. And was your main focus? I mean, you've been a bass player, but have you sang in the past?
I have, but it was kind of like a side thing. Like, oh, I want to sing harmonies.
Okay.
And it kind of grew from there. And now he's kind of, giving the ball to run with it and
Give that
kind of
motivation
just,
and.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Aww.
First time I saw her sing on stage, I saw her with her previous band, and I was just like blown away by her voice. And I was just like, I'm like, that's awesome. Like, why doesn't she sing more? I listened to her her other albums. She wasn't even singing on the records, and I'm like, there's something there. Like, she needs to do this.
Was that your Breaking the Ice tour?
No.
You should sing more.
No, she broke the ice to me.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
Yeah. So it was kind of like I really want to get that voice. Like, see what else you can do. And like, I think like as a singer, usually every singer has like 3 voices that they can sing with. I have a solid 3. I like to say I have 4. She's got 5.
Nice. All
Yeah, kind of go along with what he was saying, how we all bring our own stuff to the table. I've been able to evolve and explore a lot more of that stuff than I had in previous bands.
Good. All right. Now, there's one song off this last album that I love. It's called The Fallen. Can you give me a little, like, background of that song, if you will?
Wow, you asked the heavy one.
That's what, honestly...
He was writing this when we first started dating.
Really? That's the song that got me to listen to the rest of the album, honestly.
That song meant a lot to me. I left my career to pursue Rubicon full time. I was married before.
Okay.
And my ex-wife had made the decision that after we had agreed that I needed to make some changes, a week later that it wasn't going to work out. So after being married for 12 years, she divorced me. And at that time, I kind of snapped and I went back to drinking, and it was after 4.5 years sober. I was like, and on top of that, my bass player, who was at the time my best friend, he left the band on a Thursday because he had the family and the kids, and he couldn't do it. He was like, yeah, he was gonna fit it until Phil brought in to fill in. And I'm still my best friend. He filled in for us once in a while when I needed him and stuff. He's still very close. He's still a member of the band, emotionally to us.
He was one of the groomsmen at our wedding.
He was the groomsman at my wedding. And then that was on a Thursday. My wife divorced me on a Sunday. Like, she came in and she was like, I cleaned out the bank account, moved out of the house, and boom, and whatever. And it was like, what? And then Tuesday I get told that I have throat cancer.
Oh, Jesus.
In a week. And so needless to say, this album meant everything to me, but I just started drinking and getting into a mess. And I just almost got to the point where personally I couldn't care anymore. Like, I was kind of like, what else? What else? And this song kind of like, I started writing it in the beginning and I kind of like moved on over the course of this period. And we had started recording, and at the time I had gotten a radio station had hit me up saying that one of their fans was a 14-year-old child. His name is Joey Scheidler. He was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma, and he asked if I could do a radio plug on their radio station for him because he was a big fan of our music, and they would send videos of him listening to our music and stuff like that. It meant a lot to me. All of a sudden, like, wow, it's like this music does matter to somebody. And I did this radio comment thing, and I sent it over to them. They sent me a video of him listening to it and how he got really excited about it. And I remember on Tuesday of that week, the following week, I was like, I really want to give this kid a call at some point and talk to him, because it really meant a lot to me that our music meant to somebody. And they called me to tell me he passed away. And I just felt at that moment, I sent the letter out to the band talking to them about how much music means to people, and how much impact. And it's like, we do matter. I might not make money anymore, and my life might be in shambles, but there's something I'm doing that's important to somebody. And I knew I needed to kind of get out of the funk that I was in. I just didn't know how. And that night, we played a show, and I dedicated the show to him. And Jeannie and I had been acquaintances for a while. She had seen us play, and she came up to talk to me, and she found out that I was single, so she asked me for my number.
Actually, I approached him to talk about sobriety because I was struggling.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I thought
sober at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Ironically enough. Yeah.
You were like, sorry, I can't help you there.
We had known each other for like 3.5 years, and we didn't, and I'm not so, but we started
I ran
seeing
away
each
from him
other.
because I thought he was really attractive.
I thought she didn't like me.
Yeah, I just couldn't bear to talk to him.
And to me, that song was kind of about, it's kind of like about taking what life has to give you and saying, I don't care how hard it gets, I'm going to get through this. And she was a big part of that to me when I wrote that song, and so was Joey. Like, that was kind of like, every person in the world is unique there's something unique about everybody.
Yep.
You think you're special, you are, but so is everybody else. And we all have struggles, and it doesn't matter how hard life hits you, you can bounce back, and you can make it, and that's kind of what that song was about.
Well, it's amazing.
Thank you.
No, seriously, I was like, I've had stuff happen in my life the last few months, and it just hit me, so congrats. Thanks. And I hope there's more of that on this next album, because it was profound. So
yeah, it's kind of like owning it and just saying, you know what, no one else is going to fix this but me. And so yeah, Jeannie was a big inspiration for that.
Nice.
That's awkward because I play in a band.
Yeah.
there was a few times when because he used to always dedicate it, partially to me, because I would be at all the shows.
Yeah.
And then when we started playing, I'm like, "This song's for me."
This song's about me.
Now, are you guys playing that tonight?
If you want us to, we will.
We haven't heard the set list.
We actually.
Oh, you haven't?
Nice. We're talking about it.
We were talking about the set list. We were like, we kind of made a point to not get lazy on tour. We kind of changed the set list a couple times.
Yeah.
Let's throw this one out. But all right, we're doing the song tonight.
All right. No, that goes into this now. This is kind of, I wouldn't say a local show because you're not from Rhode Island, but it's New England, so it's kind of a local thing. Regional. Do you guys have anything special you're doing, or since you haven't wrote a set list, it's just...
We don't really cater our set list to this like, case in point.
Okay.
We were playing Dirt Fest 2 weeks ago in Detroit, and we were gonna make it all 4-minute long, easy to listen songs and whatever. And we go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the day before, and I like, everyone else was like 3 hours in and they were good. I'm like, I don't think they had to like pull me out of the building. And I sat down with the band, like,
dragging me around.
I was dragging her around everywhere. And there was like the one part, like, which I'm a huge U2 fan, and Bono had this one statement where he was like, can you imagine what race relationships would be in this country if there was no rock and roll? And that hit me, like, wow, it's like, what a it's almost like we have a responsibility.
Yeah.
We don't write pop songs, we write rock, we write metal. We are here to take a stand on something. So I'm like, you know what, throw out the safe set. We're gonna burn the building down, and they're either going to cheer for us or they're going to cheer for our heads. So we did, and our set was just, it was abrasive, it was in your face, and it was like, so we try to, it's never like, well, we're playing with a heavier band, so let's play our heavier music. It's like what a statement.
What the vibe is, and
feel
what.
the vibe.
Okay.
And
how do we want to portray ourselves today?
So it's going to be a surprise
What kind of
until
vibe?
last minute.
Yeah, it's gonna. We always try to start off on a high note.
Yeah.
Kind of chill it out for a minute, and then come back with another high note to finish it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm formulating the set list in my head.
You did a lot of research on this stuff.
Not really.
No.
No.
Just go with it, Steph.
Sure.
Yeah. No,
I knew that all along.
I like to interview people actually, like, they listen to the music and they follow the band and they kind of know what they're getting into. That's really cool.
I've been out of the scene for so long, so I just came back, and it's like relearning everything all over again. But really, it's like riding a bike. So whatever. And you run into people that you knew years ago, and it's all good.
I lived in a bubble for multiple years, so now being able to be at events like this, I'm like, I'm from Springfield, so I'm not, and now I live in Connecticut, so I'm kind of all over the place. But coming here, I'm like, hey,
I know you. Hey.
It's awesome.
Now, are you guys touring the rest of the year, or are you taking some time off to actually do a new record?
We're going to do nothing like long for the rest of the year. We're going to do like 4 or 5 day runs from now to the end of the year. Looking at, I think, either January or February to do something a little bit longer.
Okay.
And we're gonna get to that record.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that record, but the music video is starting to get some television play now and stuff like that at some markets.
So it just might hit. And
so
something we're exploring.
Okay.
Speaking of, like, previously in the conversation about like radio versus video and stuff like that. So we're exploring the video options. Okay. Just because we don't have the money for radio.
But you could do a video for The Fallen.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
We do. We have.
We did talk about that at one point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, the record's kind of, you're still writing for the new record, but nothing's like in cement that it's going to be done or anything. You're working on this record, and that's it for right now.
Our goal would be and we want to do everything on a 2-year cycle.
Okay.
So with this album coming out in February, probably going into the studio maybe as early as like spring. Okay. To have that record out for the following February. Okay. Right, and another thing too, like the benefit with this record, the last record that we released, and we wrote this record over a 4-year period. And it was like, we wrote probably close to 40 songs, and we were able to say, like, what's the ones we really want to, and then we were able to kind of push the rest of those aside. Yeah. So this record, we're kind of going through, and maybe there might be 1 or 2 of those 40 songs that might work, and then we want to make sure that we don't want to, like, so many bands, like, sit down, okay, now we have to write a record. Right. It's like, sometimes it's like, well, like The Fallen, like, sometimes you need some inspiration, and you don't want to just write songs for the sake of writing songs.
But you got a new inspiration here for new music.
Absolutely. She's already been instrumental on inspiration for the next album. And sometimes in weird ways, like sometimes I'll like write something from her perspective. Yeah. Or I used to write stuff from my drummer's perspective, or because having a woman in the band, it's always been helpful for me as a guy lyricist if I wanted to write a song from a woman's perspective, I'm able to kind of like put myself in her shoes dealing with
Wait,
something.
You don't write about girls? You write
No.
From girls?
Yeah, right. I try to write from girls instead of about girls.
All right.
Yeah, like I did a song. We have a song about a girl that's being attacked at an abortion clinic, and I was trying to come from the perspective of the woman dealing with it. If I wrote a song, in the same song, I have a song about a 15-year-old kid who's coming out to his religious parents, and like kind of put yourself in that mindset.
Well, see, lyrically, you're acting.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But
Kinda,
this is part of the reason why I fell in love with you. You're just conscious of things and people's emotions and what they go through.
You know what? A middle-class white guy does not have a lot to say. So sometimes you have to put yourself in the shoes of other people that actually have to struggle in life.
Yeah, but I mean, you think of that. Some people are just like, oh, I'm gonna sing about bitches and, you know,
If I
red
sing
Solo cups. I don't even know, you know.
Well played. If I sang about look, I love my mother. If I sang about bitches, I'd never be able to look at her in the face again.
True.
Your mom is here.
I'm not a feminist. I love my wife and I love my mom.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Okay, that makes me a feminist, then I'm guilty.
All right. Anything else that, I mean, they can watch your video. You got it plugged up on the website, on Facebook, on pretty much all social media, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And they can get the album.
Album is available on iTunes and Amazon.
Okay.
We are going to have an online store starting very shortly.
Okay.
Or at any Crossing Rubicon show, and we are, you know, we're going to be touring a lot of. We're going to be doing more northeast stuff. You know, maybe out as far as Chicago.
Yeah.
And maybe down as far as like Kentucky or whatever. From now till like the end of the year, we'll probably go down to Florida and stuff like that. You know, very shortly. You know, and looking to get West Coast. We're working on West Coast as well.
So you're gonna be out and about.
We're gonna be out and about. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we want to go back and hit markets that we did hit on tour and just kind of keep, you know, maybe Providence will be our home away from home. You know, stuff like that. Maybe it could be Lexington, Kentucky. You know.
Could be Utah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know if Utah people like us.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Totally
Okay.
Kidding. Totally kidding. I don't know anything about Utah.
But
we haven't done Utah yet, so I don't know.
All right.
Not being in a position to really have the opportunities yet to do like full U.S. tours. Keep just hitting spots and trying to gain momentum.
Well, at least you can get out there though.
Yeah.
And
exactly. Yeah.
Play and, you know.
I mean, not full U.S., but I've actually been pretty happy with the chunk of the country we've done.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Why we're able to go back to those places because we, you know, long weekends we can go back and hit those places.
Yeah.
And become a familiar face and a familiar name, and then it can start spreading and
like wildfire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to add? Anything I didn't hit on?
I think you did really good.
Well,
You did. Yeah, it was a
Well,
really thorough
thanks.
interview.
Thanks. I tried.
Well, no, I've done interviews where like, so tell me about your band.
Yeah. Who are you and what do you do?
What do you do?
Oh man.
My gosh.
No, I tried.